Hulahans, it's hump day. I'm here
Woo!
with Beach Johnny today,
Yes.
changing it up.
Can I take my shirt off? It's hot.
Please, please hold back. I do have to
uh,
remind Johnny to put his shirt on most of the time before
I
recording, but that's TMI for all of you Hulahans. Special
t-shirts are
welcome to you new
yes.
subscribers. We had a few new
Woo,
subscribers
thank
last
you.
week. We're grateful that this content, that this kind of banter back and forth is helpful to you. And as always, if there's anything specific that you want us to cover, look into, dive into, drop it in the comments, shoot us a note, book some time on our calendar. All the links are below in the show notes. Johnny, what's going on this week?
Oh, buddy. Well, it's hump day, Danny. So we usually do a little market update. So I am going to take us through just the top line numbers where everybody's at. Still looking like a stuck market. You and I have experienced some upticks in helping people with vacation rentable condos. And, I wanted to talk, Danny, about like what is opportunity and what does it look like? Right.
Hmm.
And, man, we've kind of gone through like a few market ups and downs. Right. So, opportunity. You and I first started in business together. This is, 2020. Remember that?
2020,
And
right?
2020.
In the heart of
So
COVID.
I start working, me and you were at the same group there. And then March, they shut us all down, right? And I'm still spamming people on the VRBO app. Remember that? I'm just reaching out to
Yep.
people because I felt like there was some sort of opportunity. And I was actually reaching out to sellers, right? Remember that. However, we had exactly one buyer that actually clued into what we were sharing, the message, right? This is the opportunity because everything is so uncertain. This would be the time to do something. We had exactly one client do that, and they did very, very well with what they purchased at that time,
They got a
right?
great deal. 30% off. We negotiated that down.
So most people think that the opportunity was COVID because that's when all the explosion happened, but really the opportunity was 20. And then the explosion happened. And just like every explosion that I've been through since the Great Recession, when I've cut my teeth in real estate, right, has happened the same way. The opportunity lies before the explosion. The explosion happens, and then almost like clockwork, there's a hangover, right?
Hmm.
So we come out of the bust of the internet cycle in the early 2000s, and then to make it all go away, they messed with interest rates or something like that. And so really the opportunity was 2003, 2004. And for people that purchased then, they did very well in the explosion because 2005 things go parabolic. And everybody's feeling rich. Everybody's refi rich. Everybody's refiing and buying more and more and more. And then the hangover happens. Same thing like COVID, right? 20's the opportunity. The explosion happens, and then now we're in the hangover portion. And we were just talking about, Danny. I mean, we'll use Hololani as an example with what they're dealing with sea level rise. Great complex. I like the floor plans, beautiful views, hotel zoned, but dealing with some real sea level rise issues that the county doesn't seem to want to help with. And so what was 1.2 is now drifting towards the 800s.
Yep.
Now, I feel that we are in opportunity time again. And I feel that because the further we get away from the memory of the fires, the more people start to return because people still love Maui, right? And whether we like it or not, tourism is still our economic driver here. So
And
I'm
more and more and
seeing that.
more. I think the tourism driver, not just in Maui, but around the world, is just going to keep growing, growing, growing. As more people have
Okay.
access, as more people travel, as more people get excited about seeing the world. I mean, you're going to have the Maui lovers who are already coming, and then you're going to have the more Maui lovers from everywhere around the world. I mean, everywhere I've traveled to in the world, when you say Hawaii, things light up like they've never lit up before, right? People just have this fascination with Hawaii. And you're seeing more and more travelers every year. You're seeing increased numbers, increased visitors, increased spending. I mean, I think that number, I think Maui County even said like people are spending more money on Maui this year than they did pre-COVID. And that's even with less visitors. So there's more and more and more spending. I think that number only increases over time. I guess with
Noted.
whatever they end up doing with trying to limit or reduce, or I think the mayor keeps calling it quality. He wants quality visitors. Basically, he wants people to spend more money and less people to come. But I think you're still going to get people to come on any budget and more and more. That's what I'm feeling.
Agreed. Do you feel like there's opportunity there? I'm just going off of, the Pineapple Minute that comes out every Friday, right? Gives us a peek into the professional property management world of vacation rentals. It's good, hard data. And that was telling us that there was a noticeable uptick.
Yeah.
Now we're back into the shoulder season, so that good news is kind of muddled now, but that's just what happens, right? I mean, we're at the tail end of spring break. I know that there's probably others that still go, but it seems like the meat of spring break is done. Things quiet down here, and then it starts ramping up about the second week of June or so, right?
Yeah,
So
that's pretty normal. Pretty normal numbers. I mean, nothing to be alarmed of, right? April, May is, and September, October is usually what we tell people. Like, hey, if you want to come to Maui and not deal with all the visitors, like that's when you should come.
agreed. So back to opportunity, I think that most people feel that when they're moving with the herd, that's the opportunity. I feel like the opportunity is beforehand. It's always when it's a little scarier, right? Because there is the risk reward that you have, the choice that you have to make. And I feel like we are in one of those situations again. The mayor came out and basically said he's kind of sticking to his guns with this whole, getting rid of a lot of these vacation rentals here on Maui. So once again, what was our message from the beginning about hotel zone? That we felt we are in the bottom of the market then for hotel zone
Floor.
condominiums. If there's going to be a difference now, right, and a differentiation, it's going to be the law of supply and demand. The mayor is going to take away a large amount of supply from the vacation rental market. Therefore, the remaining opportunities for supply and inventory. I mean, the law of supply and demand says that when supply gets constrained and demand is still high, prices have to go up.
And what have we said about demand the last few weeks is we have had more conversations in the last 6 weeks than we had, I mean, almost the last year, it feels like. And I mean, you were sending me a few things about, hey, is Google dying? Are we going to see less traffic? I mean, we
Right.
had the most traffic to our website ever
Hmm.
last month, and advertising costs have gone down to the lowest cost we've seen since starting this 5 years ago. So that to me tells there is a plethora of desire, a plethora of people who are curious about this thing. So
I
demand is
think that
not going
there's
down, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think that your aversion to risk or your ability to take on risks is going to really depend on how you see the future of the economy as well, in general. And I mean, for myself, I like what I'm seeing. Seems like in the past we were very, very okay with borrowing large amounts of money and just printing large amounts of money to give away for like good things, right? Which makes no sense to me. I'm a charitable individual. When I have, I give. I don't borrow to give. So that
Hmm.
whole what was happening then didn't seem to make sense. It does feel like maybe there's some more fiscal responsibility. Seems like there is a more of a friendly of I want to get this economy roaring type of environment. And if you're going to bet that that's what happens, then once again, we are looking at opportunity right now because when people feel flush again, they're going to run back to Maui in droves like they did during COVID, dude.
That
I
would make
mean,
sense to me.
so here is the checks and balances, though, right? So inventory is climbing right now. So we still have high inventory in the condo market, but prices have not fallen yet. Although we have seen that in certain complexes. In general, there has been no crash, though, right? We're seeing
No crash,
some
but some
some
decrease. Yeah.
places, yeah, decrease, and some things are going for crazy deals, but then others not so much. So I feel opportunity is right now because it doesn't look so rosy, and yet we're seeing some green shoots. So that's my share there. Um, having some rocky times with our vacation rental condo deals where people absolutely have to take out financing as well. And I just want to bring that to everybody's
Yeah.
attention here.
Let's
You know,
talk about the opportunities there, and
let's
then
just do
here's
it.
the risk. Let's talk
So,
about the risk and
so
the
for
challenge.
myself, if you have the ability and you want to get involved in Maui condo market right now, you should do it with cash. And maybe that's you kind of setting yourself up to do this by maybe sucking out equity, or maybe you have it already. But condo financing right now, our job as excellent realtors, when somebody tells us it's difficult to do this here, we go and find the people that can do the difficult things,
Yes,
right? So there are complexes where nobody is getting financing, and we have found people that can do them. So what does this mean in the world of financing, Danny? When most banks, let's say 90% of banks are saying, I don't want to touch this, but there's 10% that says, I'll take that risk. Do you think that it's going to be a little bit more expensive?
probably. Yes.
So there it is. Guys, right now in some of these complexes, it's going to cost you 2.5 points just to do the deal. And it's not going to go to pay to the lender that I'm going to recommend you to. It's going to go to the actual bank that's doing the deal. And you're going to
Hmm.
probably pay 0.5 point or more higher in interest rate because, again, it's a riskier deal. And I just share this with you so that you can prepare yourself, because this should be a strategy. You've worked your whole life. The dream is to come and retire here in Maui, which most times means you're going to keep living in Seattle, but you're going to come out here when it's really, really gray and rainy at home and you just can't go outside anymore. That's what the typical retirement on Maui looks like. So if you can, be prepared with cash. Maybe you're taking that out of your home if you're not sitting on it liquid. But if you need the financing, we're here. But just know it's going to come at a cost, because that's our job, is to go and find the difficult to next to impossible people that can get things done when others can't.
Absolutely. And that's all
That's my
to say,
diatribe.
not everywhere is super difficult. There are
Truth.
some pretty straightforward opportunities. And so I
Yes.
guess therein lies for you. If you don't want to deal with the risk or the challenge or the difficult, just give us a heads up in advance. I mean, we are aware of those particular properties that have those issues. The challenge is a lot of people do like those particular properties and want to be in them, either for the price point, the location, the view, whatever it might be. And so, yeah, when the challenges rise, we can find ways to get it done. The risk for them is it's probably going to cost more than they expected, and not everything is as simple and straightforward as it is in a typical residential community in California or Seattle or Kansas or anywhere else where our lovely Hulahans live.
And guys, just know we are always looking for other tools that we can bring to you. Here on Maui, there has been a long time kind of, I don't know what you, an opinion, if you would, that mainland lenders, these are literally lenders that are not here in the islands, they can't perform, especially in the vacation condo market. And this may can't come from experience, where they said they could do it, come all the way to the very end, and then for some weird reason, they couldn't. I'll pick on US Bank. We had somebody, we were telling them, look, it's super difficult to get mainland lenders to do the deals. They said, we're going to do it anyway. They got close. US Bank kicked the deal because there were some units in the complex that are timeshare. How would we even know that? Right? So these are the things where it looks great and then all of a sudden it explodes. But guess what? I've had great mainland lenders where I've said, you know what? This is such an excellent rate. My client's got a personal relationship with this banker. I'm going to stand by them. I'm going to share with them all the nuances and what they need to do to get the deal done. And then they have.
Yes.
So just throwing that out there as information. Sometimes if we present the offer and there's a mainland lender on there, it could be poo-pooed because of that experience that that agent had. And just know they're doing their job with their seller. That's who they represent. They're just sharing the experience with them. So it can be difficult. So if that's your strategy, let us stand by you. Condo docs, that's the main thing that these lenders need, because within that is everything that they need to understand the complex. So sometimes we can get our hands on those. If you're willing to spend $400, that's what the cost is to get them. We can get them in 2 days. So just a little quick, I don't know, little word vomit conversation on what's going out here on
This is just the whole purpose of this show, Johnny.
That's it.
And
That's it.
it's really just to bring all of you listeners, followers, watchers into the behind the scenes. This is what we talk about on a day-to-day basis. Johnny
That's
and
it.
I were having these conversations with each other via
Yep.
text, via video, via phone call, and we said, why don't we just open this up for other people to see what we talk about, what we think about, what we're seeing. And that way you're a little bit more informed, a little bit more educated, a little bit more aware of what's going on. And then you can make the best decisions for your family, for your dreams, and ultimately your future. And if that's on Maui, awesome. And if it's not, that's also awesome because now you know which way to go.
That's when we've done a good job. When you make the choice, and literally just the fact that you can make a choice for or against tells us we did a good job.
Yes,
That's it.
absolutely.
Let's jump in real quick here, Danny. Tell me when you can see the Paragon screen.
There she is.
All righty. So real quick, guys, little elevated in residential. We're up to 400. This is strictly on Maui here. But I'm used to seeing that back, like I've mentioned, when I first dived back in, every one of these seemed to have about 500 pieces of inventory in them. So not super crazy there, but condos were still definitely elevated. We seem to like be at a ceiling here in these high 780s, Danny. This seems to be like where, I don't know, I'm not watching this go up or go down.
Kind
So
of camped here.
kind of camp there. So new inventory comes in, but some gets consumed. It's just remaining here. And then vacant land, not a whole lot there. 138. Definitely took out Molokai because there's a lot of land on Molokai that you
It
can buy
sure
there.
is.
So that's the scoop there, guys. Still basically a stuck market, if you would. We're hearing this nationwide. It's because sellers hold on to very, very low interest rates. So there's not a whole lot of motivation for them to move up or go down because if they sell, they'll get some money. But then if they have to buy with financing, they get a higher rate. So that's happening here as well. Let's jump into the actual numbers here on the hot list. Molokai, once again, Danny, 449,000 across the street from the ocean, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. South Point at Waikoa, boy, Danny, we're watching these correct. What were these though back in the day when you and I jumped in? Like I remember a flip being like 350 for something that
Yeah,
was absolutely brand new.
350.
Yeah, 260s, 265 for something that was a little more beat up. So
Yep.
we're still elevated from prior to COVID, but we are seeing these come down here. 202 tells us it's an upstairs unit, so no yard, but still two tandem parking spaces, 2-bedroom, 1 bath here. Fees are not horrible at 568. I may think that these might be higher. This was listed back in 2024. A lot of times the realtors don't come and update them to the new year budget there. So we'll see if we can find another newer listing. Bring that to your attention. Ooh, McKenna Surf. Boy, McKenna costs some money, Danny. I'm seeing this
Sure
new development
does.
down there. Yeah, man, quarter acre, half acre with beautiful views, but 9 million for the dirt, dude. Man,
Wow.
people got some money out there, dude. But here we go. McKenna Surf, 1313 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2 bath. Rest of Wailea is way down here. 4.795. Did a reduction of 200,000, been on the market for 75 days. So definitely some motivation there. Akula Highway, Danny, 1,850,000, fresh to the market. Hard to believe that's only 1,071 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, isn't it?
I guess it's all
So
garage.
that's right. So shaved off. This is unit B, so it has been CPR'd. The entire square footage, well, it doesn't tell us. 1.58
Didn't put it in
acres.
correctly.
They did not put it in there correctly, Danny, but it's going to be a little less than 1,000,058. That's new construction, or well, newer construction, 2020. So we shall see there. Ooh, Kihei, 3-bedroom, 3 bath, 2,200 square feet. Looks like a beautiful interior there. 5,500. That's what it costs to rent over here on Maui. There's another rental opportunity. This one's a 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath, 650 square foot home. So I imagine this is the Ohana on 0.8 acres. And that's 3,400 a month for the 1 bedroom there. Here we go, Wailea Golf Vistas. So 0.28 acres, quarter acre there. That's going to run you $1,450,000. The Golf Vistas, man, they bring some money in there, man. So it starts out, Wailea Kialoa. What's the other one? Pua. I can't remember the name of that one, Danny. It's kind of north Wailea, if you would.
Yep.
Starts out there. And then as we get into the Golf Vistas, boy, values really start to spike. I want to say Golf Vistas starts in the 4 up to the 10 million range there. Whereas Kialoa, man, there's still an opportunity down there for like 2 and change. So $1,450,000 for that piece of dirt there. Canceling this one up in Kahana. This looks like it's in Kahana Ridge. 43 days on the market. Didn't happen at 2.575, not happening at 2.450. So for some reason, they're pulling that one there. This one expired here at the Royal Kahana after 183 days. Took it for 6 months. Didn't touch the price. That's a studio, 620,000. And then this one here, Danny, in Kihei, Kenaleo Road, $1,600,000 for a 2 bedroom, 3 bath at 960 square feet. This is where it's like buying homes is very individual, huh, Danny? Like I would
So
not see one. I would not see 1.6 for this. But there we have it in North Kihei, 2 bedroom, 3 bath, 960 square feet on over half an acre. So maybe some development opportunity there. But yeah, dude, 1.6, man. So great job throwing that guy in escrow there. One of our favorite residential condo complexes in Wailea Fairway Villas. Some of these do have beautiful views, kind of on par with where Monkey Pod is in terms of vista or elevation, if you would. It's walking distance from there. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, started out aspirationally at $1,375,000. And we talk about aspirational pricing. We always tell people that we stand with you. Just know that it tends to take longer to sell and it feels like you're losing money. So in this case, 303 days to get the deal done and a potential loss of $275,000 to get the sale done. Kapalua Golf Villas. Nice to see the values hanging in here, Danny. That is a gorgeous view. That is a super trophy unit there. Building 23, $1,675,000 for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. This is when a view says, I don't care. I want to live that life, right? Because 64 days later, took $1,640,000, started at $1,750,000, but they started peeling right away, and that led to this offer right here. And yes, it was cash, and they closed that just a little bit less than a month, man. So well done there. That's what I got for the Hulahan today, Danny. It is Wednesday. The wifey is coming back from her girls' trip, so I am picking her up at the airport.
What a week. What a message. There is no opportunity without risk, and sometimes there's only risk with opportunity. And so if we can help you at all in kind of determining if Maui's for you, let us know. Drop in the comments, schedule some time on our calendar, reach out to us directly. Otherwise, we'll see you on Friday for the Aloha Friday episode.
The Shaka horns.
All right. Let me figure out how to. Not letting me finish the recording.
I'll just keep smiling on the beach here with my black t-shirt on.
There it is. All right. I'm just going to drop the call.
All right,
drop the
Bubba.
call. Catch you
There
later,
it
Johnny.
is. Yeah, Danny. Peace.